I stand here in my grandmother's vintage Chanel wedding gown, the one worn by 3 generations of Chen family brides, watching my fiancé Marcus Sullivan tell me he can't go through with this wedding because he's in love with my maid of honor, my best friend since childhood, Emma Thompson, and I feel the entire world collapse beneath my feet as 200 of the city's most elite wedding guests witness what should have been the happiest moment of my life transform into the most devastating public humiliation imaginable. The words keep tumbling from Marcus's mouth like poison, each syllable destroying everything I believed about love and loyalty and the future we'd planned together. Isabella, I'm sorry, but I can't marry you when my heart belongs to someone else. Someone who understands me in ways you never could. And I see Emma stepping forward in her dusty rose bridesmaid dress, the one I personally selected because it complemented her complexion so beautifully, tears streaming down her face in what looks like genuine anguish, but now I realize is probably relief that their secret is finally out in the open. How could I have been so blind, so trusting, so naive to believe that Marcus Sullivan, the charming law student from a middle-class family in Queens, could genuinely love me for anything other than my family's wealth and connections, when every sign was there from the beginning if I'd only opened my eyes to see the way he calculated every gesture, every romantic moment, every declaration of love like a business transaction designed to secure his future in high society? The flash of cameras captures my shock, my devastation, my complete and utter humiliation, and I know that in moments these photos will be splashed across every social media platform and gossip blog in the city. The Chen family heiress, who wasn't enough to keep her own fiancé faithful on their wedding day. Marcus, how could you do this to me, to us, to everything we built together? I managed to whisper, my voice barely audible over the gasps and murmurs of our guests, but he's already reaching for Emma's hand, already turning away from me and the altar where we were supposed to pledge our eternal love just moments ago. Emma's voice breaks as she speaks, and I remember thinking how genuine her emotions seemed, how sorry she looked. Isabella, I never meant for this to happen. You have to believe me. But we can't help who we love, and Marcus and I tried so hard to fight these feelings, but true love can't be denied. And the way she says it makes me want to believe her, makes me want to forgive her, because she's been my closest friend since we were 14 years old at boarding school, sharing secrets and dreams and planning our futures together. The wedding photographer, Daniel Kim, captures every moment of my destruction with his camera, the click of the shutter like gunshots in the stunned silence of the cathedral. And I wonder briefly how many times he's witnessed moments like this, how many broken dreams he's documented through his lens, never knowing that years later I would look back on this moment and understand that he was the only person in that room who truly saw me, truly cared about my pain. My parents sit frozen in the front row, their faces, masks of mortification and shock. My father's hands clenched so tightly his knuckles are white. My mother's perfectly applied makeup beginning to smudge as tears. She's trying desperately to hold back, threatened to fall, and I know they're thinking about the business implications, the social consequences, the way this scandal will ripple through their carefully constructed world and destroy everything they've worked so hard to build. Marcus begins his speech about following his heart and choosing true love over duty and obligation, his voice gaining confidence as he speaks, as if he's practiced these words, as if he's been planning this moment for weeks or months, and the way he looks at Emma with such adoration, such genuine emotion, makes me realize that maybe he really does love her. Maybe he never loved me at all. Maybe I was just a convenient stepping stone to the life he always wanted but never thought he could achieve on his own merit. The whispers start small but grow louder as guests begin pulling out their phones, recording this disaster, posting it live to their social media accounts, and I can already imagine the headlines tomorrow. Chen heiress abandoned at altar, society wedding becomes social media disaster, when true love trumps arranged marriage, even though my marriage to Marcus was never arranged, even though I chose him freely, even though I loved him with every fiber of my being and believed he loved me the same way. I gather what's left of my dignity and run from the cathedral, my grandmother's vintage wedding dress trailing behind me like a symbol of every broken dream and shattered promise. The train catching on the stone steps as I flee from the destruction of my life, mascara streaming down my face in black rivers that will be captured in 1,000 photos and shared around the world within hours. Behind me, I hear Emma calling my name, but whether it's genuine concern or performative guilt for the cameras, I no longer care enough to find out. The aftermath unfolds with the relentless precision of a carefully orchestrated campaign, and within hours of my humiliation at the altar, Marcus and Emma's love story becomes a viral sensation across every social media platform. With hashtags like True Love Wins and Wedding Drama trending worldwide as millions of strangers dissect my personal tragedy for entertainment, reducing the destruction of my life to nothing more than content for their endless scrolling and temporary amusement. My reputation crumbles with terrifying speed, the narrative quickly shifting from sympathy for the abandoned bride to speculation about what I must have done wrong to drive my fiancé into the arms of my best friend, with comment sections filled with strangers analyzing my appearance, my personality, my worth as a woman and a partner, declaring that maybe Marcus was right to choose Emma. Maybe there was something fundamentally lacking in me that made me unworthy of love and loyalty. The business consequences hit my family's event planning empire like a tsunami, with clients calling within hours to cancel their contracts, citing concerns about our family's stability and ability to maintain discretion, as if my personal heartbreak somehow reflects on our professional competence, as if the Chen family's 3 generations of impeccable service in the luxury events industry means nothing compared to one day of scandal and public humiliation. Emma reveals her true nature in the weeks that follow, confessing to friends who eagerly report back to me that she's been feeding Marcus information about my family's business dealings for months, sharing confidential client lists and vendor relationships and strategic plans that he then used to help our competitors systematically undermine our market position, turning my trust and openness into weapons against everything my family has worked so hard to build. The revelation that Marcus used insider knowledge to orchestrate attacks on Chen events hits me harder than his betrayal at the altar, because it means every intimate conversation we shared about my family's business, every moment I brought him into our inner circle, every secret I trusted him with, was part of a calculated plan to destroy us from within, using my love for him as a tool to access information he could never have obtained any other way. Contracts that seemed secure for months suddenly disappear, with clients choosing competitors who somehow knew exactly what bids to submit and what weaknesses to exploit. Suppliers who have worked exclusively with my family for decades suddenly refusing to honor agreements or demanding impossible terms. Staff members defecting to rival companies with suspiciously detailed knowledge of our upcoming projects and strategic initiatives. My father's heart attack comes on a Tuesday morning 3 weeks after the wedding disaster, brought on by the stress of watching everything he's built over 30 years crumble in the wake of my personal scandal. And as I sit in the hospital waiting room, I realize that my naive trust in Marcus Sullivan has cost more than just my own happiness. It's potentially cost my father, his life, and my family their legacy. Mother's depression sets in gradually, her vibrant social personality dimming as former friends begin declining her invitations and excluding her from the charity boards and cultural committees that have defined her identity for decades. The wives of prominent families suddenly too busy to take her calls, too concerned about their own reputations to associate with the Chen family drama that continues to generate gossip and speculation. My siblings scatter to avoid the shame and social ostracism, my younger brother transferring to a university across the country where no one knows our family name, my sister accepting a job offer in London that she'd previously turned down, both of them choosing exile over the daily humiliation of being associated with the Chen family scandal that shows no signs of fading from public memory. Our family mansion, the Georgian estate that has housed 4 generations of Chen family history, goes on the market to pay the mounting debts as legal fees pile up from broken contracts and lawsuit threats, the staff we've employed for years giving their notice one by one as they search for more stable employment with families whose reputations aren't in ruins. Rock bottom arrives 6 months after the wedding disaster when I find myself working as a waitress at the very events I used to plan and execute, serving champagne and canapés to the same society elite who once competed for invitations to my family's legendary parties, their pitying glances and whispered comments cutting deeper than any physical pain as I navigate rooms where I once held court as the Chen family heiress, and now exist only as hired help in a crisp white uniform and sensible shoes. The cruelest irony comes when I'm assigned to serve at Marcus and Emma's engagement party, held at the Four Seasons ballroom where I'd planned to host my own reception if our wedding had actually taken place, Watching Emma wear jewelry I recognize from my own collection, pieces that Marcus must have convinced me to lend her over the months when I still believed she was my loyal friend instead of my calculating enemy. Marcus now moves through my former social circle with the confidence of someone who belongs. His law degree purchased with my family's money opening doors that would have remained forever closed to a middle-class boy from Queens. His charm and Emma's connections securing him internships and opportunities that transform him from an ambitious outsider into an accepted member of the elite society he'd always envied and desired. Emma has grown into her role as my replacement with disturbing ease, wearing designer gowns that look suspiciously similar to ones I used to own, attending charity galas as Marcus's sophisticated fiancé, posting photos from exotic vacations funded by the very connections and information she stole from my family. Her Instagram account, a carefully curated display of the life she always coveted but never thought she could achieve through legitimate means. The final confrontation happens in the ladies' room during their engagement party, when Emma corners me while I'm restocking towels and toiletries, her fake sympathy falling away like a discarded mask as she reveals the truth I'd been too naive to see even after months of evidence and betrayal. "Did you really think someone like Marcus could love you for you?" she asks, her voice dripping with contempt and satisfaction. "You were just a stepping stone, darling. Your family, your money, your connections. That's all you ever were to either of us." The evidence she shows me that night destroys what little faith I still had in human nature. Love letters between her and Marcus dating back 2 years before my wedding, passionate declarations of love and detailed plans for using me to achieve their goals, photos of them together during family vacations and romantic getaways I thought were meant for Marcus and me alone, proof that my entire relationship was nothing but an elaborate performance designed to extract maximum value from my trust and affection. Marcus's words echo in my memory from that night, his cold dismissal when I finally confronted him about the letters and photos. "You were useful, Isabella, but Emma understands ambition in ways you never could. You were always too soft, too trusting, too willing to believe that people could love you for your personality instead of your bank account." And the casual cruelty in his voice makes me understand that I never knew him at all, that the man I fell in love with was a carefully constructed fiction designed to manipulate my emotions and secure my cooperation. The car accident happens 3 days later when I'm driving home from another humiliating shift, serving people who used to consider me their equal, my vision blurred by tears of rage and despair as I replay Emma's revelations and Marcus's dismissal, the rain making the roads slippery and dangerous as I push my car faster than I should, desperate to escape the memories and the pain that follows me everywhere I go. 3 days in the hospital, alone, with parents too ashamed and financially devastated to visit, friends who disappeared the moment my social status collapsed, former colleagues who now view me as a cautionary tale about trusting the wrong people, and Emma's social media posts about toxic people being removed from her life, making it clear that in her version of events, I'm the villain who couldn't handle losing gracefully. Dying at 26, surrounded by the ruins of everything I once had, my family's business destroyed, my parents' health and happiness sacrificed to my naive trust in people who never deserved it, my own identity reduced to nothing more than an object lesson about the dangers of loving too freely and trusting too completely, my last coherent thought being a desperate wish that if I could somehow do it all again, I would never make the same mistakes, never trust anyone who hadn't proven their loyalty through years of consistent action instead of pretty words and romantic gestures. Then I open my eyes and realize I'm staring at the ceiling of my childhood bedroom in the Chen family mansion, and somehow, impossibly, I'm 22 years old again, my body young and healthy and free from the pain and exhaustion that defined my final months, the morning sunlight streaming through the bay windows that overlook the gardens where I used to play as a child, and for a moment I think I must be dreaming or hallucinating, some kind of near-death experience triggered by the medications they gave me in the hospital. But the details are too vivid, too perfect, too exactly as they were 4 years ago when I was still innocent and trusting and believed that love could conquer any obstacle. When Marcus Sullivan was just my boyfriend of 6 months who was planning to propose next week with my grandmother's ring that I'd secretly shown him during one of those intimate conversations where I shared my dreams about our future together, never knowing that he was cataloging every detail for future exploitation. My phone buzzes with a text message from Emma asking about lunch plans, and seeing her name on my screen sends a surge of rage and betrayal so intense I have to grip the mattress to keep from screaming, because I remember everything now, every lie, every manipulation, every moment when she pretended to care about my happiness while systematically working to destroy it. And the memory of her cruel words in that bathroom is so fresh it might have happened yesterday instead of in another lifetime. The recognition hits me like a physical blow when I check the date and realize this is exactly 4 years before my wedding day, the morning when everything was still possible, when I could still save my family and myself if I'm smart enough to use the knowledge I've gained through pain and loss and betrayal, when I can still prevent the destruction that's coming if I act quickly and strategically, instead of stumbling blindly into the trap that's been set for me. Marcus will arrive at 7 tonight for dinner with my parents, the same dinner where he charmed them so completely they started treating him like the son they never had, sharing business, confidences, and family secrets that he'll use against us with devastating efficiency. But now I know what he really is, what he really wants, and I can stop him before he has the chance to infiltrate our lives and steal our future. Emma will call at 3 this afternoon to suggest we go shopping for engagement ring settings, pretending to be excited about Marcus's upcoming proposal while secretly planning to sabotage my happiness from within. But I remember her jealousy now, the way her eyes lingered on my jewelry and clothes and lifestyle, the subtle comments about how lucky I was to be born into wealth instead of having to work for everything like she did. Daniel Kim will be here tomorrow morning to photograph the Chen family's annual spring garden party, the same event where I barely noticed him 4 years ago because I was so focused on Marcus and our relationship, but now I remember his quiet presence at every family milestone, the way his camera captured not just images but emotions and moments of genuine connection, the respectful distance he maintained while somehow always being exactly where he needed to be to document our most important memories. The immediate recognition of this opportunity, this impossible second chance, fills me with a cold determination I never possessed in my first life. When I was soft and trusting and believed that good intentions and genuine love were enough to protect the people I cared about, but now I know better. Now I understand that sometimes you have to fight fire with fire, that protecting your family requires strategic thinking and careful planning instead of naive optimism. My reflection in the antique mirror above my vanity shows the same face I remember from 4 years ago, unmarked by the pain and stress that aged me so dramatically in my previous life, but my eyes are different now. Harder, more knowing, filled with the bitter wisdom that comes from watching everything you love destroyed by people you trusted completely. The decision forms in my mind with crystalline clarity as I shower and dress for the day ahead, choosing my clothes with the same care I would select armor for battle, because that's exactly what this is, a war for my family's survival and my own future happiness. And this time I refuse to be the naive victim who hands her enemies the weapons they'll use to destroy her. Strategic withdrawal from Marcus will begin immediately, gradual but unmistakable, cutting off his access to family information and financial support without giving him the chance to realize what's happening until it's too late for him to adjust his plans, while simultaneously building new relationships with people who deserve my trust and loyalty, starting with Daniel Kim, the man who was always there but whom I was too blind to see. Emma's manipulation tactics will fail because I know them all now, every technique she uses to extract information and every way she twists my words to serve her own agenda, and watching her frustration grow as her usual methods stop working will be almost as satisfying as the moment when she and Marcus finally reveal their true natures to the world and destroy themselves in front of everyone who matters. The charity gala in 3 months will be the perfect venue for their public downfall. 500 of the city's most elite families gathered to witness what they think will be another successful Chen family event, but which will actually become the stage for Marcus and Emma's complete social destruction, their masks finally falling away to reveal the calculating opportunists they've always been beneath their charming facades. Cutting off Marcus Sullivan's access to the Chen family resources begins with subtle changes that he won't recognize as deliberate sabotage until it's far too late for him to adjust his strategy, starting with my announcement at breakfast that I've decided to take a more active role in the family business and will no longer be sharing confidential information with anyone outside our inner circle, not even with boyfriends I trust completely, because professional discretion is essential for maintaining client confidence in our services. My parents exchange surprised but pleased glances across the mahogany dining table, clearly delighted that their daughter is finally showing serious interest in the empire they've spent decades building, never knowing that my sudden business acumen comes from painful experience with industrial espionage and corporate sabotage, from watching everything they've worked for crumble, because I was too trusting to protect the information that kept us competitive in a ruthless industry. Marcus's confusion when I stopped mentioning client names and contract details during our conversations is almost comical. The way he tries to steer our discussions back toward business topics, with increasingly obvious questions about upcoming events and vendor relationships, his charming smile becoming strained when I deflect his inquiries with vague responses about confidentiality agreements and professional boundaries. The gradual withdrawal of financial support proves even more effective than cutting off information access. My casual mention that I'm implementing a personal budget to learn fiscal responsibility, causing visible panic in Marcus's eyes, as he calculates how much his law school, tuition, and living expenses depend on my generous subsidies, the expensive restaurants and designer clothes, and luxury weekend getaways that have defined our relationship suddenly becoming impossible to maintain on a student's income. Emma's growing frustration manifests in increasingly desperate attempts to extract information during our coffee dates and shopping trips. Her questions about family business becoming less subtle as her usual manipulation tactics fail to produce the gossip and details she's been collecting for months, her fake concern about my secretive behavior revealing her true priorities more clearly than any confession could. "You seem different lately, Isabella, more distant and closed off than usual," Emma says during one of our lunches at the plaza, her perfectly manicured fingers drumming against her champagne flute in a rhythm that betrays her nervousness. "I hope you know you can trust me with anything. We've been friends for so long that we're practically sisters, and sisters don't keep secrets from each other." The irony of her words would be laughable if it weren't so perfectly calculated, her appeal to our friendship and shared history designed to make me feel guilty for maintaining appropriate boundaries. But I remember the letters she wrote to Marcus about using our sisterly bond to gather intelligence, the way she laughed about my naive trust while planning to exploit it for her own advancement. Building new alliances proves more rewarding than I anticipated, especially my growing friendship with Daniel Kim, whose quiet intelligence and artistic passion reveal depths I was too distracted to notice during my first life, when I was so focused on Marcus's flashy charm and romantic gestures that I missed the genuine character of the man who was always present but never demanding attention. "How did I never notice how thoughtful you are? How you remember every detail about the people and events you photograph?" I asked Daniel during a conversation about his latest exhibition, genuinely curious about the perspective that allows him to capture not just images but the emotional essence of his subjects, the way his photographs tell stories that go far deeper than surface appearances. His smile transforms his entire face when he talks about his work, the passion and dedication evident in every word, as he describes the challenge of documenting human emotion and connection through his lens, his respect for the trust people place in him when they allow him to capture their most important moments, the responsibility he feels to honor their stories with honesty and artistic integrity. Learning about Daniel's background reveals another layer of compatibility I never recognized before: his family's old money, heritage, and artistic legacy, making him a perfect match for my own social status, while his choice to pursue art over traditional business ventures demonstrates the kind of integrity and independence that Marcus has always lacked, the confidence to follow his passion instead of chasing wealth and status through manipulation and deception. The contrast between Daniel's genuine interest in my thoughts and opinions and Marcus's calculated attempts to extract useful information becomes more obvious with every conversation. The way Daniel listens without agenda and responds with thoughtful questions versus Marcus's transparent fishing expeditions disguised as romantic concern. The difference between someone who values me as a person and someone who sees me as a means to an end. Setting the trap for the charity gala requires careful coordination and perfect timing, using my knowledge of Marcus and Emma's future plans to arrange for maximum public exposure of their betrayal, ensuring that 500 of the city's most influential families will witness their destruction when their masks finally fall away and their true natures are revealed for everyone to see. The guest list includes every major society, family, business leader, and cultural influencer in the city, exactly the audience Marcus and Emma will want to impress as they position themselves for social acceptance. The same people whose opinions and connections they've been trying to access through their relationship with me, never knowing that their moment of triumph will become their complete downfall. Marcus's desperation becomes increasingly obvious as his financial situation deteriorates and his access to Chen family resources disappears. His attempts to propose, despite my growing coldness, revealing how much his timeline depends on securing our engagement before I realize what he's really after. The borrowed money he uses to buy an engagement ring, creating debts that will destroy his credit rating when the payments come due. His mother's pressure intensifies as she realizes her son's meal ticket is slipping away. Her phone calls to Marcus becoming more frequent and desperate as she coaches him on manipulation tactics that might restore my previous devotion. Her working-class desperation to climb into high society through her son's strategic marriage, making her more dangerous than Marcus himself because she has nothing left to lose. You need to propose immediately, before she has time to think too much about your relationship. I overhear her telling Marcus during one of their heated phone conversations, her voice carrying clearly through the thin walls of his studio apartment when I arrive unexpectedly for a visit. Rich girls like Isabella get bored easily, and if you wait too long, she might start looking at other options. Emma's coaching sessions with Marcus become more obvious as her own mask begins to slip. Her advice about appealing to my romantic nature and family loyalty, revealing intimate knowledge of my personality and weaknesses that she's gathered through years of fake friendship, her suggestions becoming more manipulative and desperate as my behavior continues to confuse and frustrate their carefully laid plans. The security cameras I've had installed throughout the Chen family properties capture Marcus and Emma's secret meetings with devastating clarity. Their conversations about stealing business information and manipulating my emotions, providing irrefutable evidence of their conspiracy, the timestamps and audio quality, leaving no room for doubt about their guilt when the recordings are eventually revealed. Isabella is starting to ask too many questions about our relationship. Emma confesses to Marcus during one particularly revealing conversation, her voice tight with worry as she paces around his apartment. She's not sharing information like she used to, and I think she might be getting suspicious about how much time we've been spending together. Marcus's response reveals the calculating nature that I was too naive to recognize during our relationship. His casual dismissal of my feelings and his clinical analysis of my usefulness to their plans. She's always been too trusting for her own good, but if she's starting to wise up, we need to move faster. The proposal has to happen within the next 2 weeks, or we risk losing everything we've worked for. Their discussion of backup plans chills me more than their original betrayal, the casual way they consider destroying my reputation if I refuse to cooperate with their timeline, their willingness to spread lies about my mental health and family stability if I become an obstacle to their social climbing ambitions, the complete lack of conscience or remorse in their voices as they plan my destruction. Daniel's growing presence in my life provides a perfect contrast to Marcus's increasingly desperate behavior, his protective instincts emerging naturally when he notices the aggressive way Marcus tries to pressure me into decisions I'm clearly not ready to make, his respectful approach to our developing relationship demonstrating what genuine care and consideration actually look like. You seem stressed lately, and I hope you know that whatever is bothering you, you don't have to handle it alone, Daniel says during one of our photography sessions in the garden. His camera lowered as he focuses on my emotional state instead of the perfect shot, his concern genuine and undemanding in a way that highlights Marcus's selfish approach to our relationship. Our growing emotional connection feels like coming home after years of wandering in a foreign country. The ease of our conversations and the natural compatibility of our interests, making me realize how much effort I had to put into my relationship with Marcus. How I was always trying to bridge differences and overlook incompatibilities that should have been obvious red flags. The evidence I'm gathering against Marcus and Emma grows stronger every day. Recorded conversations and documented meetings and financial records that will make their guilt undeniable when the time comes for public exposure. The methodical construction of an airtight case that will leave no room for doubt about their conspiracy and manipulation. Building toward the charity gala climax requires perfect timing and careful orchestration, ensuring that all the pieces are in place for their destruction while maintaining the facade of normalcy that will keep them confident and unsuspecting until the moment their world comes crashing down around them. The Chen family's annual charity gala unfolds with the precise elegance that has made our events legendary throughout high society. 500 of the city's most influential guests gathered in the ballroom of the Metropolitan Club, their designer gowns and custom tuxedos, creating a sea of wealth and power that represents everything Marcus and Emma have spent months trying to infiltrate through their manipulation and betrayal of my trust. Marcus arrives with Emma as his guest, a choice that would have devastated me 4 years ago, but now fills me with satisfaction because it provides the perfect setup for their public humiliation, his borrowed tuxedo and her rented gown making them look slightly out of place among guests whose jewelry costs more than most people's annual salaries, their nervous energy betraying their desperation to impress the very people who will witness their downfall. The evening proceeds according to plan, with cocktails and dinner and the charity auction that raises millions for children's education. Marcus working the room with Emma by his side as they network aggressively with potential business contacts and social connections, their charm and sophistication hiding the calculating desperation that drives every conversation and every carefully practiced smile. Daniel's presence as the official photographer provides both documentation and moral support, his camera capturing not just the evening's festivities, but the subtle interactions and revealing moments that will tell the true story of this night, his reassuring glances giving me strength as the moment approaches when I will finally expose the truth about the people who destroyed my first life. Marcus's surprise proposal speech begins with all the romantic flourishes I remember from my previous life, his declaration of love and devotion sounding genuine enough to fool everyone who doesn't know about his secret meetings with Emma and his calculated use of our relationship to advance his own agenda. The spotlight focusing on us as 500 guests witness what they believe is a spontaneous moment of true love. Isabella Chen, you are the light of my life, the woman who makes me want to be a better man, and I cannot imagine spending another day without you by my side, Marcus says, his voice carrying perfectly through the ballroom's acoustics, as he drops to one knee with my grandmother's ring, the same ring he convinced me to show him months ago during one of those intimate conversations where I shared my family's most precious traditions. The interruption comes exactly as I planned, with video evidence projected onto the ballroom's massive screens. Just as Marcus finishes his speech, the recordings of his conversations with Emma playing with crystal clarity as 500 guests watch their shocked faces and listen to their casual discussions of manipulation and betrayal, their complete dismissal of my feelings and their cynical plans to exploit my family's resources. Isabella is just a stepping stone to the life we deserve. Emma's voice echoes through the ballroom, her recorded words destroying any possibility of maintaining their innocent facade. Her family's money and connections will give us everything we've always wanted, and once Marcus is established, he can trade up to someone who actually understands ambition. Marcus's humiliation is complete and devastating as security escorts him from the ballroom while guests murmur in shock and disgust. His desperate protests about misunderstandings and out-of-context recordings falling on deaf ears as the financial records showing his attempted theft and sabotage appear on the screens, providing irrefutable proof of his calculated betrayal. Emma's social destruction happens even faster than Marcus's, her manipulation tactics and years of fake friendship exposed for everyone to see, her attempts to approach me stopped by my father's security team as she's banned from the premises and blacklisted from every major social event in the city, her dreams of high society acceptance crumbling in minutes as the truth about her character spreads through the crowd. The crowd's reaction exceeds my expectations, their shock giving way to approval as they realize how cleverly I've outmaneuvered the people who tried to destroy my family, their respect for my strategic thinking and protective instincts, marking my transformation from naive victim to formidable adversary, the kind of person who belongs in their ruthless world of business and social warfare. Phoenix Man exposed for exactly what he is, I hear someone say, the term carrying all the contempt that high society reserves for ambitious climbers who use manipulation and betrayal to achieve success they haven't earned, using the Chen family daughter to steal business secrets and social connections. Absolutely shameless. Daniel's declaration comes at the perfect moment, his protective stance as chaos erupts around us, making it clear that he's chosen sides, his public statement of support providing the emotional climax that transforms my victory from cold revenge into something deeper and more meaningful, the beginning of a genuine partnership based on mutual respect and understanding. Isabella Chen is the strongest, most genuine person I know, and I've been in love with her for years, Daniel says, his voice carrying clearly through the ballroom as the crowd turns to listen. She deserves someone who values her intelligence and integrity, not someone who sees her as a tool for advancement. Our first kiss happens in front of 500 witnesses, their applause and approval creating a perfect counterpoint to the disgrace of Marcus and Emma's exposure. The contrast between genuine emotion and calculated manipulation clear to everyone present as they witness the difference between true love and opportunistic romance. The crowd's enthusiastic response to our relationship reveals something I hadn't expected, their recognition that Daniel Kim represents everything Marcus Sullivan pretended to be. Old family heritage combined with artistic achievement and personal integrity, the kind of match that enhances both families instead of creating the parasitic relationship that Marcus was pursuing. The aftermath of Marcus and Emma's public destruction unfolds with poetic justice that satisfies my desire for revenge while clearing the path for genuine happiness. Their reputations destroyed so thoroughly that recovery becomes impossible, their social exile complete and permanent as word spreads through every circle they hope to infiltrate through their manipulation and betrayal of my trust. Marcus faces expulsion from law school within weeks when the academic dishonesty investigation I initiated reveals the extent of his cheating and corruption. The evidence I provided about his stolen assignments and plagiarized papers creating an academic scandal that destroys his legal career before it can begin. His dream of using a law degree to climb into high society crumbling along with his credibility and professional prospects. Emma's social exile proves even more devastating than Marcus's academic downfall. Her former friends shunning her manipulation tactics once they understand how she's been using their confidences and connections for her own advancement. The revelation that she's been playing them against each other for years, destroying every relationship she's cultivated since childhood. Marcus's family cuts contact with him after the scandal destroys their own reputation in their working-class community, his mother's social climbing ambitions becoming a source of shame and ridicule among their neighbors and colleagues, their middle-class respectability ruined by association with his spectacular failure and public humiliation. Emma's desperate attempts to contact me through mutual friends and social media are ignored completely, her apologies and explanations falling on deaf ears as I focus on building a future with someone who deserves my trust and affection, her gradual realization that her actions have consequences, providing the kind of long-term punishment that matches the years of systematic betrayal she inflicted on our friendship. The Chen family business thrives beyond all expectations once Marcus's sabotage is eliminated and new partnerships are formed through Daniel's family connections. The Kim family's artistic legacy and social standing opening doors that had been previously closed to us, creating opportunities for expansion and innovation that wouldn't have been possible without this unexpected alliance. My parents' newfound respect for my judgment manifests in greater involvement in business decisions and strategic planning. Their recognition that my survival instincts and protective strategies saved the family from destruction, giving me the authority and independence I need to shape our company's future according to my own vision and values. My siblings return from their self-imposed exile with genuine admiration for my transformation from naive victim to strategic victor, their pride in my accomplishments helping to heal the family bonds that were strained by the original scandal, our relationships stronger than ever because they're based on proven loyalty instead of assumed obligation. Daniel's patient courtship reveals the difference between someone who wants to possess you and someone who wants to know you. His respectful approach to our relationship, allowing genuine intimacy to develop naturally instead of being forced through manipulation and pressure. His willingness to wait for my emotional healing, demonstrating the kind of character that makes lasting love possible. I've waited years to see you really see me, and now that you do, I'm in no rush to demand more than you're ready to give. Daniel tells me during one of our long walks through the garden where he first photographed my family, his understanding of my need for emotional safety, creating the space where genuine trust can grow. Learning about Daniel's artistic soul and personal integrity reveals layers of compatibility that go far beyond social status and family connections. His passion for capturing truth through his photography matching my own commitment to honesty and authenticity. His independence and creative vision complementing my business acumen and protective instincts in ways that create true partnership. His family's warm acceptance provides the kind of genuine welcome I never received from Marcus's family. Their appreciation for my character and accomplishments, making it clear that they see me as more than just a business connection or social advancement opportunity. their old money, heritage, and artistic legacy creating a foundation for mutual respect and understanding. Our engagement announcement 6 months later generates exactly the kind of positive social response I never experienced with Marcus. The approval and enthusiasm from our peers, reflecting their recognition that our relationship represents the best of both families, a union based on genuine compatibility instead of calculated opportunism. The pregnancy announcement that follows our wedding creates the perfect ending to this chapter of my life. Daniel's joy at becoming a father matching my own excitement about building a family with someone who shares my values and priorities, our son's future secured by the love and loyalty that brought us together. Emma's glimpse of our engagement announcement in the society pages provides the final twist of the knife. Her realization that I've achieved everything she wanted through honest means, while she lost everything through dishonest manipulation. The contrast between our outcomes serving as the ultimate proof that character matters more than clever schemes. Marcus's current situation as a paralegal struggling to pay off the debts he accumulated, trying to maintain a lifestyle he couldn't afford, offers its own form of justice. His dreams of high society success crushed completely while he faces the consequences of his choices, his brilliant future reduced to a cautionary tale about the dangers of using other people to achieve your goals. The final scene captures everything that matters about this new life I've built through wisdom gained from pain and strategic thinking, born from betrayal. Our son's first photograph, taken by his father's loving hands, the image representing not just a new beginning, but proof that some stories do have happy endings for people who refuse to let evil triumph over good. In my past life, I was betrayed by everyone I trusted. I whisper to our sleeping son as Daniel adjusts his camera settings to capture this perfect moment. But in this life, I chose the one person who had always been trustworthy and found not just love, but true partnership. The click of Daniel's camera preserves this moment of complete happiness and family unity, the sound that once documented my destruction now recording my triumph, the same artistic eye that witnessed my lowest point now celebrating my highest achievement. The perfect ending to a story that began with betrayal and ends with the kind of love that makes every struggle worthwhile.